Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's live. I am Priscilla from The Moon Artisan. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to be live today with Bella from C3 Crystals. And we're going to be talking about all things anxiety. So if you guys are on your spiritual journey and you've been using crystals to incorporate into your practice, this is going to be a great live for you. We're going to be discussing which crystals you can use to combat your anxiety. So I see my friend just hopped on. Let me get her in. Hi, Karate Girl. All right, let's give her a second. Hey, Margie. Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Oh, it's so weird now with the new thing with the badge. It's like I can't see my face.
Oh, really? Yes, I know what you mean. For me too. Yeah. So I was just introducing everyone to the topic of today's live. Um, I know there's some new people, so not everyone has met you yet. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Bella from C3 Crystals, and I do energy healing work. I'm a Reiki practitioner. I have my own crystal shop as well, and I'm also do coaching and counseling.
Awesome. Yeah, so for today, we're going to be talking about crystals for anxiety. So let's get started.
Yeah, I love this because I feel like this last year was super anxiety causing for a lot of people. And I,
Hmm.
a lot of people got drawn to crystals for that support. So I actually thought that was kind of a neat turnaround of it, if you will. And
Hmm.
so, using crystals for anxiety are great, even just your everyday anxiety. They're great to complement if you already work with like a therapist or a counselor and you want to have these complement. They're kind of
Yeah.
great for everything, which is what I think is cool. There are some specific crystals that I like to recommend specifically for anxiety. There's different breathing techniques. I'm happy to show some of you too. But I think really the main thing is like, what is anxiety as well too? And that's when we're stuck too much in the future. It's that worry, right? Like, could this happen? Could this happen? Could this happen? And that's usually where the root of our anxiety comes from. And so when you're realizing that, what I like to have people I work with do first is to ground first, to be present in the moment. So I do have some crystals that I recommend for grounding. Actually, probably going to show this one first. I show quite a few as well too, but probably like a Baja Jasper or any kind of like jasper, like the red jaspers, really grounding crystals. Look at, there's my eyelash on there. So really grounding yourself, or even going outside barefoot on grass if you can.
Uh-huh.
Concrete's fine too if that's all you have, if you live in like the city, but really connecting to the present moment is the first thing that I usually have people do, especially when you've got that like tightness in your chest and you're feeling just all this worry, bringing you into this moment too first. So black tourmaline's also very grounding as well,
Hmm.
bring you into that space. So that's usually what I recommend to start, is that grounding, and then the crystals for anxiety. So I can show them if you'd like. I have them handy to show. Depending,
Sweet.
yeah, go ahead.
No,
So
I was just saying sweet.
I'm like, I'll show them. So these are like my personal collection crystals, but like ocean jasper as well too is really good, calming, soothing. If you're a water sign, you
Hmm.
might like ocean jasper the most for reducing your anxiety. You can use this in a meditation, and like people always freak out. They're like, I can't meditate, I can't sit. It doesn't have to be like sitting cross-legged, saying om. You can be, but it doesn't have to just be sitting in quiet, listening to the waves of the ocean.
Yes.
Find like ocean jasper is really for that. The water sign or a rising or sun sign water. You might like this. I'm both, so I love ocean jasper. So
Your which one?
my rising and my sun are water. Oh wait, no, my rising is a fire sign. What am I talking about?
Can I guess?
You want to guess? Go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, rising is Leo.
No.
No? Okay, again. I have one more chance. Sagittarius.
Yeah, rising's a Sag.
Yay! Okay, and your sun is it Pisces?
Close.
So Cancer.
Cancer. Yeah, it's like Pisces. Yeah.
Cool. Yes, I definitely feel those vibes. Steven is here. Hi, Steven from Gemsprite Crystals. He says that OJ Cube is amazing.
Thanks. I know. Oh, that's the benefit when you sell crystals. You get first dibs on stuff when you go to shows. We find the coolest stuff. This is like my personal collection, little one. We find them at crystal gem shows. So when you sell crystals, usually you go to shows and you meet suppliers and.
Oh, Gemsprite, he's another crystal shop.
Oh.
He actually has really nice ocean jasper. He's like an ocean jasper whiz. He preach, he says. So Karate Girl is asking, is there a breathing technique that you recommend to help get you grounded?
Yes. So it's the simplest thing you can do is actually breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. If you want to add a little restriction in it, there's some different yogi breaths where you block the nostril, but that feels extremely uncomfortable to me, and I don't know why. So I just do in through my nose and out through my mouth 3 times, and not like you don't want to increase it. Try to do it, of 8 seconds in and 8 seconds out to reduce the breathing, because a lot of times when we're anxious, our pulse rate and our heart is beating faster, and you might not even realize it until you take that moment to be in there. And another great grounding technique is actually using a crystal. I use this with clients all the time, is just to describe the crystal. So you could just be sitting there saying, like, it has circles, it's got druzy, and so you're bringing into your focus the present moment of this crystal that is physically in front of you. So even if you can't get outside or you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can just grab any crystal and sit and describe it. And this is actually, it's actually a therapeutic technique, not necessarily with crystals. You can do it with any object, but of course we're going to do it with crystals. And that can really bring you present too, because your focus is shifting from what's could happen, that's causing the anxiety, to what is right now, because we can't always control what's happening, and a lot of anxiety is related to control issues, right? We all have them. We all like to control our little areas.
Girl, I'm a Virgo sun and Scorpio rising. So the level of control that I need to have in my life is through the charts, like off the roof.
You get and then when we can't have it, we're like, okay, I can't control this. This is like the worst ever.
Yeah.
So that can really help bring you that moment, but just a really simple, like, and I like, if you're familiar with the Ujjayi breath, if you're a practitioner, the Ujjayi breath is really good. If you can cultivate that, that's the ocean breath. So there's a slight constriction at the back of the throat when you exhale. So you get kind of an oceanic sound, like a.
Oh, I love that.
That's really calming as well too. Yeah. Again, if you're familiar with that breath pattern, but in through your nose, out through your mouth is the easiest thing that any human being can do. And it can take that level of anxiety down. And you'll see people like in movies, they're having panic attacks and they're like, and that's legit a thing. You can calm down that way, bring yourself to the moment. So really grounding. And then if you can do that breath with the crystal in your hand, depending on the situation, if you got kids yelling at you and you're like freaking out, you're anxious, you might need to step away and hold the crystals and do some breathing. If you can meditate, that's usually the best. If you're able to meditate for at least 5 minutes, it's kind of also preventative if you're able to do that daily.
Yes.
Some other crystals too. So ocean jasper is really good. Celestite too, really calming, soothing, relaxing, connect with angels and stuff.
I'm reading Karate Girl's comment. She's like, "You must be a pro at breathing techniques for grounding, then to control the control." For real.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us who have like, especially these deeper like placements, we tend to look towards spirituality a lot because we have like this consistent search to relieve, you know, the tension or stress that we feel just from like being empathetic and soaking up everyone's energy, and then also being hypersensitive and being like hyper attuned to all these energies. It can be a lot. So I think, yeah. There's another breathing technique. It's called the fourfold breath. That one is my favorite. Have you heard of it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's and I learned it through yoga, but I know that I just recently learned that soldiers actually use that breath too, like special ops. Yeah, they actually they're taught the fourfold breath to kind of like ease their anxiety whenever they're in high stress level situations. So the fourfold breath is a really good one. I recommend too.
Absolutely.
Karate Girl says, does screaming into a pillow count as meditation?
Yeah, I would. And, you know, and that's kind of that like letting it out, right?
Yes.
Out that energy inside of you that's percolating.
No joke. Yeah.
It's way better than like letting it explode on someone else. What happens, I'm like, I'll hold it in. And then that sag comes out and I'm like, okay, it's time.
Yeah. Sometimes you need to let it out. Like you really do. It's not good to keep it inside. And as much as we would like to all think that we're all like, you know, zen and collected, the truth is that we all feel feelings differently. And some of us are, you know, sometimes you feel it a lot more. You're sensitive to certain energies more than others, and it's okay to take a moment to feel and release. I think that's what you're trying to say, right? That's really important. Feel it, acknowledge it, but also don't hold on to it. You have to make sure it's released.
Absolutely. Yeah. And not saying don't feel it, because we definitely want to honor how we feel in the moment, what that is teaching us, especially when we feel uncomfortable. I know for me, like when I'm feeling uncomfortable, I'm like, oh, this is teaching me something. I don't want to learn it right now, though. I just want to be comfortable.
Yes, I know that feeling.
And so those are some good crystals. I do have other crystals too that are really good. I think two of my favorites for anxiety are lithium based. So like lithium in any kind of mineral, like mainly quartz. I have a lithium in citrine I'll show you too. That's another private collection piece, but and I'll explain why I like that one as well. But lithium in quartz, you can find it, you know, various shops have it, and it's really pretty. It's the clear quartz with the purple lithium in it. Lithium's often called like the Xanax of the crystal world, if you will. And so is lepidolite. So lepidolite's a little more accessible than lithium quartz. So I have like the lepidolite sphere, nice purple mica, often called purple mica too. Calming, soothing. This is my go-to for relaxation is lepidolite. That's the one that really helps me relax, chill out. So a lot of purple minerals I find are very soothing. Purple, blue, and then of course amethyst. We'd be remiss if we didn't bring out the amethyst wand. Amethyst is also really good and soothing, and even amethyst too, like if you're a stress eater and you get stressed and anxious, and so you go into the kitchen and you eat extra foods, having amethyst in your kitchen can help that too, particularly the geodes. So I'll put like a amethyst geode in my kitchen, like facing the food, like facing where all the food is. We're not going to stress eat today. We're going to calm down. If we're not having so I like also amethyst to reduce that stress, reduce anxiety. Those usually go hand in hand. So that's my other favorite. I have so many favorites I could share with you all day.
I know. It's like asking what your favorite child is.
They're so good. There's so many crystals for helping with reduction of anxiety. Moonstone too. as well, especially cancers, Cancer rising, Cancer suns probably connect well with moonstone. It's also a birthstone of June. If you're a June Cancer, you might really connect with it. So these are great, soothing, that motherly kind of calming energy. Keep going. I'll show you guys my lithium and citrine. So citrine's kind of an interesting one because I hadn't thought too much about citrine for anxiety reduction, and then I was reading an article and they were saying, but it blocks that negative thought patterns that are part of anxiety. So I have lithium in citrine, so you're going to get that calming, soothing, relaxing with that kind of blocking that negative thought pattern, which is what we usually get when we're anxious, right? And we have that that negative cycle that we all get stuck in.
Yeah. Lithium in citrine is a little hard to find. You scored with that one. That's a really good one.
These are from my personal collection.
Yeah.
Or a few of those pieces, but they are hard to find. Lithium and quartz, much easier to find, and that would be great as well. I would say I don't have any to show. I don't have any lithium and quartz, but that's going to be really great for anxiety reduction as well, because you get the quartz amplifier with the calming of the lithium. So I think that if you can find, even if you have a small piece, because it's a little pricier, but I think even a small piece is great for your person, you yourself. You don't need like a ginormous, tower to help you calm down. It might really help if you have a giant tower of lithium and quartz in your house. Nice and chill space. But yeah, you can definitely use that. That would probably be number one. Blue lace agate, this is also a little bit more of a rare one. That's like, I like to bring out lepidolite because it's much easier to locate. Agates, this is good for throat chakra if your anxiety is related to like not speaking your truth or not saying something you wish you would have said or that you wouldn't have said, then you may want to go for like a blue lace agate with that. Which they're not too pricey. They're not too bad. Those
not
ones.
Too bad, no.
No, I'm thinking those. Oh, rhodonite, yeah.
Rhodonite?
Heart-related stress issues, anxiety issues, relationship anxiety, probably rhodonite is what I would go with that one. Yeah.
I love the Peruvian rhodonite. It's so pretty.
It's a Peruvian. It's my favorite. I'm not a big fan of the Madagascar one. It's pretty, but it's not my favorite. Yeah. Bubblegummy Peruvian. Yes. Love it. I would say those were like the top crystals I use, and then I would meditate, finding a quiet time. But it's about those daily rituals, having some kind of self-care ritual, because anxiety builds, right? Most of us probably experience that too. Like you're like, oh, I'm fine today. And you're like, oh, this is kind of bugging me. And then you're like, okay, now it's really bugging me. And then now it's really bugging me, and it builds.
It does. And like, so the way I was taught by my teacher was there's every tradition has some form of like daily meditation practice or daily ritual. And the reason for that is because as you go about your day each day, you're not only are you inwardly stressing over whatever it is you stress about, but you're also picking up the energies from everyone else. And so just the same way that you would brush your teeth, the same way that you take showers in the physical world to clean the physical body, you also have to take the time to cleanse the spiritual body. So it's like spiritual hygiene pretty much. And that's it. So it's like when you take on the path of spirituality, you kind of have to make the commitment to say, okay, this is something that I'm like die hard going to commit to doing this every single day. Or else if you fall off, it's like in the physical world. If you stop taking a shower, you're gonna stink a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? So it's the same thing spiritually. If you stop, meditating, if you stop releasing the stress, if you stop, you're gonna be in a bad mood. You're gonna have these migraines. You're gonna have constipation. You're gonna have all these, things that you're not taking care of because you're not taking care of your spiritual hygiene.
Yes, absolutely. And that, you know, and you were saying that a lot of cultures have that practice.
Mhm.
Cultures that have more meditative practices, people tend to have longer lifespans. They
Mhm.
have anxiety, less physical like issues like heart attacks and strokes and things. Like there's so much, and there's actually clinical research that shows
Yeah.
benefits of meditation. So beyond, you know, crystals, there's actually like legit research that says if we meditate and we have a daily practice, it enhances every aspect of our lives. So yeah, it's really important to have whatever it be something you stick to. I know for
Mhm.
what some of yours are. Mine is I like to do my journaling in the morning, and then I like to do my tarot in the evening, which is weird. You think you'd do tarot in the morning, but it feels right in the evening to check
Mhm.
my card of the day and kind of see what's going on. And then
Mhm.
also having that quiet time at the end of the day to like mellow out, let my body just be recharged. Um,
Mhm.
Using crystals. So I use different crystals depending on what happened during the day. But
Mhm.
I don't know what yours is. You have like some rituals that you stick to?
Well, the kind of okay, I do first of all the fourfold breath is like pretty much a daily thing for me. But in my practice, it's a little less of a popular practice within our community. I practice Kabbalah. A lot of the magic I practice is it's ceremonial magic, and it incorporates other like hoodoo and stuff like that is incorporated into it, but it's not like I don't identify as a witch because that's like it has to me it has European, notes to it. And I'm not European. I'm not, well, I mean, that's debatable because I'm Hispanic and Spaniards did conquer Mexico. So, but it's just something that I don't vibe with. So, and like you said, it's important for you to explore different traditions and see what resonates with you. So for me, it's Kabbalah, it's ceremonial magic, and within that tradition, there's something called the Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No.
Yeah, so it's basically a ritual where you sanitize your sacred space by banishing all of the elements. So in our life, we all have a little bit of earth, a little bit of air, a little bit of fire, a little bit of water, right? Depending on like what your birth chart, your astrology chart looks like, you're going to have a little more or a little less of each, right? And then throughout your whole life, these elements have something that they teach you, right? Sometimes if you have a lot of water, you're a very emotional person. If you have a lot of fire, you're a very, you have a lot of energy, a lot of outbursts, a lot of very passionate and stuff like that. But there's always like the pro and the con to these elements. And so that's like on a larger scale. But like on the smaller scale, on the daily basis, these elements do play a part in our life daily. And so you want to kind of like cleanse. It's just a form of cleansing in
Cool.
short. Yeah, Karate Girl says Chris Bailey's book, How to Train Your Mind, is a good book. Um, yeah, awesome. Do you have any other books you recommend? Um, Bella?
No, I don't really have any books that I recommend.
Hmm.
Most of it has just been kind of my own development of what works for me. I tried a bunch of different things. I don't identify as a witch either. I'm an energy worker, is what
Hmm.
work that I do. But
Hmm.
I think that everyone has to kind of try different things to see what works for them. Follow some people IG if you resonate with what they're showing you and what you're seeing. You could try it out. You know, don't commit to something. Even for me, like 5 years ago, if you would have said, "Oh, like try journaling," I would have been like, Psh, "I'm not gonna journal. That doesn't work for me." Right? So now I'm making a commitment to use a manifestation journal and to use my tarot cards, and I'm making that commitment to my spirituality to learn more about my journey and what's going on. And but it changes, so like maybe next year I won't want to use that. So I think,
Hmm.
but yeah, there's no book that I read. I've just always been into crystals and energy work. It's weird. So there's like an astrologer I work with, and she says sometimes when you find something that aligns with your soul journey, you're not learning things, you're remembering things.
Yeah.
So from previous lives. So for me, that's how crystals and energy work is. It wasn't, it's same with yoga too. I'm also a yoga teacher. It wasn't
Hmm.
like I was learning it, it's like I was remembering it. So I feel like
Hmm.
that was part of the purpose in this life too, was to help people in that way. And so I've been drawn to those things. So I say kind of what you're drawn to. Like if you're drawn to different practices and what they mean, and make it your own too, you know, as long as everyone's intentions are good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Karate Girl was also saying that it can be you can incorporate it in very small ways, like for instance in the shower. So that's very true. I think we've said that before. If it wasn't in this live, it was with someone else, but I've talked about this before. How I'm you guys don't be fooled by like the cute TikToks I make and stuff like that. I'm a mom of 3 kids. I barely have a life. Like I'm busy all the time. Like all the time. And it can be hard like to find the time to do your rituals, to do your studies because the studying never ends, and do the meditation and do like all this stuff, right? So that is like my kids and my husband know this. When it's my shower time, it is sacred. Do not bother me because it is like that it's one. I'm also double water. I'm a Cancer moon and the Scorpio rising. So to me, water is so special. It's so cleansing and it's just the perfect time. You have the element of water going on, the steam, you're relaxed, it's warm, and it's just the perfect time to just zen the fuck out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love that.
I love showers too. And that's cool too. Like you said, like if you're a parent and you're busy and like you don't have time to freaking journal or do anything, like my 4 now and he sleeps in a little more. So I have time to like do a little things. But when he was like 2 years old, I wasn't been able to journal anything. So yeah, sometimes it's something simple like a shower and that is your time, and letting your partner know like, hey, this is my time. Nobody comes in. This is my time. And setting boundaries yourself too, those healthy boundaries. Taking whatever you can get, but making it consistent. You know, making it something daily that you can give yourself, because that's otherwise you get burned out. We've all been there, right? Especially if you're a mom. Like who has been a burned out mom? Like everyone.
Yeah, for real. Something I also recommend, because I know a lot of this because like I said, we were oh my God, we were spilling the tea during the last live I did with Astro Weather Lady. My chart it's a very intense chart. It's super, super deep. So I have to consistently be like, bringing myself back to a state of balance, because if I let my mind wander too much, if I'm not like conscious of it, it will ramble on. It will just, you know, it will dive off the deep end. So I have to really like consistently be checking myself, right? And especially like where thoughts go, energy flows, right? So I have to consistently like be kind of like, it's like a workout for your brain, right? Where are you letting your thoughts go? So in the shower, when you're already under this really relaxed kind of like state, what I do is I will put on a playlist of affirmations. And you can listen to those affirmations in the shower because they seep in so much better because you're already in meditation and you're saying the affirmations, and it's just a whole vibe. So I really recommend that.
Oh, that sounds great. I've never done that with affirmations playing. I'm going to try that. That sounds super relaxing.
It is. Karate Girl says, can you see the comments, Bella, or am I the only one seeing it?
Kind of. Oh, kind of. No, they've stopped. I only see joined. Yeah.
Okay, Karate Girl says, yes, I use Epsom salt scrub when in the shower. Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you don't have a bathtub, because I know some people like to do like their full moon rituals and stuff. Obviously, I do too. But not everybody has a bathtub, but it doesn't have to be a bathtub. I feel like people just think like, because they see the cute pictures on Instagram with the florals going on and stuff, it doesn't have to be a bathtub, you guys. It can be as simple as being in the shower, and there's a technique where you can visualize, you should visualize like black dirt coming off your body. And so to your subconscious mind, that is all the bad energy being washed away. And it takes like 3 minutes. Anybody can do it. And that's in itself a simple 3-minute ritual that you can do to cleanse the energetic body.
Yes, I do that every in my shower. Visualize it all just going down the drain, out.
Mhm.
Makes you feel, I feel lighter after I'm at you. I just feel like lighter.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane how it really makes a difference. It's a subtle difference, but it's like the little things, right? Those little things that when you make those tweaks, they snowball into like the rest of your day, and it can make it or break it. Yeah. Um, there's a book that I'm gonna post a story later. There's a book I really like, and it's on meditation, but it's leaving my, like, it's like the tip of my tongue. I can't remember the title, but it's really good. So if you guys want a recommendation on a reading, I'll post that in the stories later. But because I know some people, everyone likes to learn differently, right? Some people like videos, other people like books. So I'm definitely both, but I don't have time to sit down and read all the time. So for me, like sometimes it's just easier to listen to a podcast or an audio book and stuff like that. Definitely. Bella, what about is there like how can we incorporate Reiki into like our practice for stress?
Absolutely. Yeah. If you've been Reiki attuned and you've gone through a training, everybody has access to the energy, just the
Mhm.
that helps connect you with source energy. And there are daily practices. You can do self-treatments daily. I'm really bad about that. I don't do my daily self-treatments. When I feel like I need them, I will use them and I'll call upon that energy. So you can definitely incorporate that with your crystals and with the healing energy. And Reiki is simply connecting with source energy and then having that go through the, for me, it's visualizing it coming from source energy and going through the palms of my hands. So if you are Reiki, you should absolutely be doing your daily self. I say this like says as a hypocrite because I don't do my daily ones, but really that's another self-care practice. Even if you don't do the shower and you don't do meditation, but Reiki is something that you know how to do. But even just sitting with your hands kind of on your face, over your eyes, relaxing, laying down can be soothing and calming, disconnecting from what's going on around you, coming into your physical body, laying down. I might have way too many things. I'm also a hypnotherapist, but that's different. But with hypnotherapy, what we do is as I'm talking, I'm like, geez, I have like way too many certifications.
That's good. Keep them coming, girl.
I love to
Keep
learn.
'em coming. Yes.
But what you do is you want to, and it's a grounding technique though that hypnotherapists use, which is to feel what you're feeling. So if I'm working with a client, I might tell them like to feel their feet being supported by the floor. Feel your breath going in and out. So it's another grounding component, but you can do it if you're laying on your bed saying just in your head, like I feel my body being supported by the bed. I feel my head resting on the pillow. I feel my breath going in and out. My breath feels warm on my nose, on my upper lip feels warm. So we're really connecting to that, the body and what's going on. And that in itself is a stress reduction technique that hypnotherapists will use, but also they use it to get you into hypnosis. But it's a way for you yourself to just kind of calm and relax laying down on your bed, especially if you're an empath. I've had a lot of empaths the last couple weeks. Like new empaths that haven't realized like why they're so tired and stressed and exhausted. So I think I don't know what you've noticed, but I think like a lot of people since the age of Aquarius hit.
Oh yeah.
The January when it officially went through. People are waking up to their spiritual gifts, and so I had a lot of people that were newer. I don't know if they became or if they just didn't realize it. Lots of stress because they're absorbing it everywhere. So I've a lot of that, and that creates more anxiety too, because if you're not used to that and then you're like, oh my God, what do I do? Like all this energy. So learning, and that's where the grounding, the shower is really good for empaths, the shower technique.
Yeah, and so it's like you said, you were talking about hypnosis. So when you're in the shower and you're putting yourself in a meditative state, it's kind of like you're putting yourself under hypnosis. And so you're under, that hypnotic state and you're saying the affirmations. So in a way, you're hypnotizing yourself to change your mental patterns. It's phenomenal. I love doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, that I wanted to point out about how you were talking about how all these people are waking up right now to their gifts, or just like these they're learning to perceive these energies that before a lot of people couldn't perceive, to be honest. But it manifests itself in ways that are usually not very glamorous. So like, I like how you said a lot of these people who are coming to you with stress, they have anxiety, they have all these things going on. And it's very important to highlight that when you have a spiritual gift, or you're on a spiritual journey, you shouldn't feel bad, because I feel like there's like, especially on Instagram, there's the aesthetic going on, and all these spiritual teachers look so zen, like their lives are so perfect, and it's really not like that. A lot of the times we as content creators have to show up a certain way on Instagram because it's just the platform demands it. You got to have pretty pictures and you have to make cute reels and stuff. But in reality, when you're on a spiritual journey, it's ugly. It's not pretty. A lot of people are coming to this path because they are stressed out, because they're experiencing anxiety, and it's because you're hypersensitive now to all these new energies. And so I think it's very important to point out to people that if you're new and you're feeling like because it can be discouraging too when the people that you're consuming content are kind of like pushing this perfect image on you, and then you feel like, I'm not perfect like that, so I must not be good enough, or I must not be doing my spiritual work correctly because I'm not there yet. I'm not that zen, and I'm not that perfect, and that's all a lie, you guys. Like, you're here, and the feelings that you're feeling are valid, and all of us have them. Each and every one of us. And so the whole purpose of, I think it's really, where did I hear this before? But there's something called the wounded healer. Have you heard about that?
Sounds familiar.
So I think they call it Chiron, the wounded healer, right, in astrology. And it's really, so that stems from, that the story of like how you really can't help others heal if you've never felt what they feel. So it's totally like, one, it's normal. It's almost kind of like necessary too. So that's what I always tell people when they're on their spiritual journey and they're just starting and they're like, well, how come I feel this type of way all the time? And I'm like, well, it's probably never gonna go away. Surprise.
Normal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You learn to adjust with it, take the lesson. But yeah, you're right. It can be on Instagram. I try not to be, I don't think that I look perfect on Instagram, but I do see a lot of accounts that look that way, and you start feeling like, wow, like this person does all this, or they've got all this editing done. Like, I have a filter on. I'll be full disclosure. I'm not.
Yeah, same.
It is what it is.
But there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having a filter or trying to look pretty or having a pretty Instagram profile. Nothing is wrong with those things, but I think it's, just important that through that process, you're also being super transparent of making sure that you're letting people know that the pain and the suffering and the stress and all these things that they feel are valid. We do all feel them. We do all,
Absolutely.
I don't know.
I 100% agree.
Mm-hmm. It's both. There's at the end of the day, like this is energy we're dealing with, right? And energy is just that. So we're gonna feel the good and the bad. So it's important, for you to be careful and mindful of who you're consuming your content from, because if it's all pretty, rainbows and cookies all the time, then that's a red flag. Then, it's not real sustenance. It's just kind of like, it's just boosting up endorphins in your head and not really like giving you spiritual medicine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've had a few people that I've had to unfollow. I was like, okay, this is getting way too much, especially if you find, like I was comparing myself to other people, making comparisons. That was creating anxiety for me. And I realized I just have to like unfollow, like, you do you. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to go over here and see. It's kind of that like stay your own lane thing. You know,
Yeah.
that uplift you, that want to help you, make you feel like you want to learn more and do more. It's different than like if it's making you feel yucky inside, it's probably just like the universe being like, okay, let's go over here now.
Yeah, and like I think it was yesterday I made a post. It's a little message, and it says spirituality isn't one size fits all. And so I understand what you're saying because, you know, X person might be like too fluffy bunny for me, and you know that's okay. You know, maybe for me, like that's just not how, because we all have like this lens that we see the world through, right? So maybe for me, it just doesn't connect with me. But I also, knowing how energy works, I also know that there's going to be people who need that vibe, or they need that kind of knowledge delivered in that flavor. So I understand there's a purpose for it in the world. And so for that, I'm not going to shame anyone, but at the same time, if I know it's not for me, it's not resonating, maybe it's even hurting, then I would rather just not, you know, follow.
Yeah, and that's the easiest way to do it. I just hate when people get negative on those people. I'm like, they are who they are. Like, if it's not your deal, don't follow them. And it's as simple as that. And maybe there's people they do help. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Latin Queen says people want to know they are not the only ones going through hard times, but also good to be able to connect with people who can show the way. Yeah.
I think it's a fine line balance too.
Mm-hmm.
So like positive, 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 and nothing like negative is happening. And then having that balance, I think that's definitely hard to find too. And then that's being vulnerable online. And I don't know if I would feel comfortable sharing all of my vulnerabilities online. So I would definitely not judge people for not doing that either. But I think it's definitely a balance for what people show, right? Like so there's the Instagram versus like what happens behind the scenes, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. There is, you're right. There does need to be a balance, and because I've seen both ends of the spectrum. I've seen like people who showed too much and like literally have cried on camera and lost their shit. And then there's also people who are just like happy all the fucking time and like unrealistically happy. Like, bitch, I know you're not that happy all the time. Like, let's be honest. So, you know, there's, and then there's people that I admire, I follow, that I know are, you know, right in the middle. Like, they give you the sustenance that your spirit needs to move forward, you know, in a positive way, but also at the same time being like, you know, vulnerable, and also letting you know that they're there with you whenever, you know, like there's certain transits happening and you know that like it's heavy, like, you know, they mention it to you and they're like, it's not, you know, I'm not just saying, this message isn't just for you guys, it includes me as well. Like, I'm feeling it too. Like, you know what I mean? So that's, you know, those are little things that you can look for in content creators that, you know, are good signs that they're going to deliver, you know, spiritual teaching in a healthy way.
Absolutely. And I'm trying to think of who I follow that I'd recommend, but like no names are coming to my head right now. But I know there are good people out there that lift you up and have the balance too. And those are what you want to feel good. If anything's making you feel not good, or you're feeling like start judging yourself, and then that's kind of when it's like, okay, let's just refocus somewhere else. This is not for me. I feel like that's our body's way of telling us, like, everybody can sense energy, right? I don't know if I'm being like, if I'm just thinking of myself because I'm an empath and an energy worker, but I'm like, everybody can do this, right? We all have a little sense. We do. I feel like
I think most of us who are here because we can. Yeah.
Like, you just walk into a room and you feel what the vibe is, the energy is at the space. And I feel like you do the same thing with someone's IG page. And if after it might take a while. At first, you might be like, "Oh, it's pretty. I like this," and then you're like, "Okay, no, I don't like this," and just
Mhm.
into that intuition to know what's going to serve you best. Because, and I actually, it was someone else, some reel, because you know when you run a shop or you run Instagram, anything, you always are looking at reels to get ideas, and you say
Mhm.
posts. That's part of the fun stuff we do. And then someone
Uh-huh.
was saying about, like, you know, when you're, what can distract you from your purpose is looking at what everyone else is doing. So if you're over here like watching what they have and what they have, not only does that create anxiety because you feel like you're lacking in something, but then it's also pulling you from your purpose because you're wasting time with things that are not serving your greatest good. So I can't take credit for that. I saw it on a reel, but I thought it was really,
Yeah.
really impactful because I feel like that's a huge source of anxiety, and it distracts
Mhm.
us from just staying focused on our goal and watching the people that are going to help us reach that goal too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. As a content creator, I mean, there's like a lot of people that are waking up to their gifts, or maybe just having a spiritual awakening in general. Sometimes having a spiritual awakening doesn't always mean that you're gonna have to like become like this, or monetize your gifts in some type of way, is I guess what I'm trying to say. But that if you feel that your calling is to, then there's nothing wrong with like selling your service. Like that is not wrong. At the end of the day, if you're going to be helping and healing in any type of way, whether it be Reiki, whether it be tarot, whether it be whatever it is, astrology, there's so many things, but so many things. There's nothing wrong with charging. You actually, like, it's an exchange of energy. If nobody's ever told you that before, it's an exchange of energy. So one, that's not wrong. But also at the same time, I feel like some people think like, oh, I'm intuitive or I'm psychic. That means I have to like, become a tarot reader for others and stuff like that. That's not always the case. But I also want to say that really in a cautious way because I don't want to like kind of like, you know, reel someone off their path if that is their true calling. That's not what I'm trying to do. But also, it doesn't mean that, just because you just had a spiritual awakening, you're gonna have to monetize your gifts. That doesn't always have to be the case. But when it is, when you do feel like this is something that you want to commit to full time, and you're gonna obviously have to make an income because you have to live and you have to have a roof over your head and clothes to wear. So you do fall into that trap of comparing yourself to others sometimes, especially starting off, and it can be really toxic behavior when you do that. So I love that you pointed that out and you said that it's very important.
And I love the money as energy too, because I think a lot of people that are healers and are called to do work to help people. And I think a lot of people think of psychics, they feel like they miss the helping piece that psychics do or that tarot readers do. And then sometimes if you're going into that field, you're like, you feel weird charging money because you're like, I just want to help people, but I need money to live. It's this weird thing. So I really like when you say like, oh, it's this exchange of energy, because money is
Hmm.
energy essentially. And I think it's taking it from that context of the financial to the energy.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And then there's also like the piece where some content creators end up kind of exploding on social media, and which is great for them. That's great. There's no shame in that. But there's like, I know, like, I follow Bahati Life, so that's one recommendation I can give. Do you know who Bahati Life is? Okay, she's on YouTube and Instagram mainly, but I'm sure she's on Twitter and TikTok probably too, but I don't know. But she's really, really great. She offers that healthy balance between, positive and also vulnerability. Um, but she has almost like 1 million followers on YouTube, and that's really good. I mean, I'm proud of her as a supporter, like, and I've been following her for like 8 years now. I've seen her growth, and it makes me so happy. And then I see how much she charges. She charges like I think it's $150 per tarot reading. And you can see some people like, especially once you grow that big, the trolls are inevitable, right? And then they'll start, well, if you're a spiritual teacher, like, why are you charging so much? And there's like a piece, there's so many things that go into having an online presence, being an online business. So whenever you're exposed to that many followers, the demand for you increases. And so to kind of like, it's self-worth, knowing that, like your time and your energy is, worth this much, but also like you can't like make yourself accessible to everyone at some point. And I don't know, I feel like sometimes people can get bitter about that, and I don't think that's fair to those content creators who have, worked so hard to be where they are.
Yeah, and I think it's like if the person's charging an amount that's just more feel is what you would want to pay, it just means that you're not an energetic match anyway.
Yeah.
That your energy is not a match to work with that person anywho, if you're feeling that sensation. So, but yeah, I can see how the more followers you get, the more people, the haters there are out there, unfortunately.
I know it happened to our friend Barbie. Remember when that one video blew up? What was it about? Oh, the one where she was burning some of the crystals to see which ones were fake. And I'm like, girl, don't pay attention to the haters. They gon' hate. Just leave them alone.
I mean, if they're profane, I just delete them. But if they're just saying comments that are based on having any knowledge of the subject, I just whatever.
Yeah. It's like you said, like you as a content creator, there's gonna be times when you have to like put yourself out there and feel vulnerable, and then it really sucks when some troll comes along and has to say something stupid. So it can kind of be a gut punch, right? Like whenever somebody does something like that. So I think I've had enough of those to like shrug them off, but at the beginning, it's definitely it makes you feel some type of way at the beginning. And so yeah, my advice is just to know that it happens to the best of us, and eventually you just have to let it go. That's going to be what it's going to be with them.
You got to put your shit up. And I think trolls, though, are more than social media. Like, we have trolls in our life, and like at work, where you go places, you might have trolls there too. And I think it's the same advice. It's like they're going to do them, and just block their energy when you're lots of like black tourmaline when you hang out or near them, or avoid them.
That reminds me, I tried something that I learned from you, but I put a twist on it.
What'd you do?
The tourmaline, you know how you told me how you put it on each corner of your house on the ceiling? I did that with my car.
Oh, nice. Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So, because I've been wanting something for my car for protection, but I was looking for like either a keychain or like what do you call them? The ones you hang on your mirror?
I know what they call. I know what you mean though. The little things that you hang from your rearview mirror.
Yeah, but I wasn't having any luck finding one I liked. So, but then I really just wanted it now. I wanted my car protected now. So I was like, oh, I have all these raw tourmaline pieces. So I decided to tape them around the car, and it's great because not just for protection, God forbid you get in a car accident or anything like that, but we just, I think, naturally pick up on so much, especially when you're an empath, you pick up on like the anxiety from all the road rage, and like just like everyone is mad all the time on the road. So that's a really big help. I definitely like the energy, and my car feels a lot more relaxed. I love it.
Oh yeah, that's so cool. What a good idea. I don't have my car, but I do like, I don't leave the house without black tourmaline bracelets on, or if I'm in the day counseling people, I have to wear a black tourmaline bracelet, or I just suck it all up and then selenite bowl at the end of the day to get it all. It has to get charged and cleansed every night because I'm sure I'm full of like muck. So if you are an empath, you have lots of anxiety, try wearing a black tourmaline bracelet too, or two if you really need it.
Yeah, I have my I have a black tourmaline, and I have black tourmaline in quartz.
Ooh, that. extra
I
jade.
like that one too. It's really pretty. Um, let me see what the comments are saying. We just keep our own vibe high. Yes. I think that was in reference to the trolls and all of that. Definitely. But I think we kind of went off on a tangent, right? Talking about like all these things, but it's because it relates to you know, the topic is crystals for anxiety, but it's also like I always tell people like as a crystal shop owner, I like to be very transparent about the fact that crystals are correspondence, but at the end of the day, there's also like the you factor, right? You can't expect the crystals to do all the heavy lifting. You have to do the heavy lifting. So that's why we talk about those things. So not only do we give you the equipment that you need, but also the ability to help you point out where this anxiety is also coming from and how you can mentally combat those feelings and emotions and
Absolutely.
thoughts.
Yeah, the crystals are the tools, but you still got to do the work in anything, even, you know, manifesting and things like that. People just think, oh, think positive. I'm like, it's more than that. You still got to do the work.
Mhm.
Same with the crystals and anxiety. You could do a meditation with Levitalite and feel really soothing and calm, but if you don't do the work for what caused the anxiety, you're gonna have to be doing it like every day, multiple times a day, and then you're just band-aiding it instead of really,
Yeah.
which is part of the spiritual work, right? Part of our
Mhm.
super duper fun shadow work we all get to do in this life.
I know. Fun shadow work. For real.
Some days I'm like,
I think we
today I just want to be like in the matrix today. Just let me be like, let me just do nothing today.
That reminds me, we should do a live next time because that's a whole other subject. But maybe we could do crystals for shadow work.
Yeah, we could.
That would be nice.
Get the kyanite out.
Oh yeah, labradorite.
Mhm.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Kyanite too, for my personal stuff where I was working with some really blocked chakras. But yeah, I could show that too. I like black kyanite. It'd be good for that.
Yes, I love black kyanite. I have some really pretty blue kyanite bracelets. Have you seen the bracelets before?
Oh,
They're like a royal blue. Oh, I have mine on right here. It's, do you see the blue color? Look at that. It's one of my favorites right now. Yeah. So it's 8 o'clock, Bella. I don't want to take up too much of your time. But thank you so much for joining us today. It's always so fun. I love these chats.
Me too. Thanks for having me anytime. But next month, yeah, we can do shadow work and crystals next month.
Mhm.
And tomorrow on my channel, I'm going to do a crystal grid for anxiety. So this will kind of flow into it. So if you want to come join me for a little grid, I'll show everyone how to do a grid to call in the calm.
Yes, I will definitely be there. How exciting. And so I'm going to be posting this video up on YouTube later. So for everyone watching later on YouTube, I'm Priscilla from The Moon Artisan. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, all of those at The Moon Artisan, and Facebook. Bella, where can everyone find you?
We are on YouTube now too. We have one video. So
Yay! I'm gonna go follow after this.
go follow my one video. We're on IG, TikTok. Right now we're on those platforms. I'm like, I don't really use Facebook too much because nobody really uses it anymore. So, but we're there. If you want to find Facebook too. But yeah, now we're TikTok, YouTube, IG, Etsy, and Facebook.
Great. Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Bella. And we'll see you again next month.
Yep. See you then. Have a great month.
Bye, babe. Thank you. Bye. All right, friends. Thank you so much to everyone who joined us today. Again, I'll be posting this on YouTube later. And tomorrow is the Crystal Live sale. So we'll be live at 1 p.m. tomorrow. Hope to see you guys there. Until then, goodbye, guys.